Have you ever wondered what lurks in the shadows? What secrets the night hides? What strange phenomena might be happening just beyond your perception? Join us as we journey into the world of the paranormal, exploring everything from ghosts and UFOs to cryptids and unexplained occurrences. From haunted houses to all things paranormal, join us in the search for the truth behind the veil. Welcome to Paranormal 411.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
We got a great special guest.
We do. We got an awesome guest, I believe.
We even have a Roger in studio with us tonight.
Let me show you Roger Bob here.
Look, there's Roger.
Roger Bob.
Here I is.
No, his name is Roger, not Roger Bob.
Yes.
But we do, like David said, we have an amazing guest on the show tonight. Bradley Powers. He's from the UK. So it's a little late over there. I think it's like midnight there. So he's doing us a real nice favor by coming on the show.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely late.
Yes. So Bradley is a spiritualist who has experienced paranormal phenomena since his childhood.
I can relate.
He's a former businessman, car sales, and nightclub owner. His life changed after experiencing auditory hallucinations for many years, attributed to malevolent and demonic entities.
I have to ask him about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hear that. Despite this, though, his encounters, he encountered numerous other spiritual beings, both benevolent and malevolent, including Merlin. I want to hear that too.
Me too. Yeah, that's interesting.
Angels and extraterrestrials. He's performed occult rituals. He's helped lost souls find peace. And he's an initiate on a druid path. Aspiring to become I hope I pronounced this right, Hierophant Knight.
There you go.
He's going to have to tell us about that too, because I'm not sure what that is.
I'm interested in that.
He possesses various psychic skills and gifts, including mediumship and telekinesis. He administers several paranormal Facebook groups with over 300,000 members. Man. And he's also the host of the Truthseekers show and is a spiritual advisor. So we're going to waste no time and bring him on. How you doing, Bradley? Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's actually 1 a.m. in the morning. And I'm wide awake because America comes alive at night for me. Yeah. And like I first encountered spirits when I was in my youth. Age 9 was the first time I experienced paranormal phenomena. And that was from telethought. It's like telepathy, only it's the spirits can come to you in thought. And I had this thought to pull the curtains back and look at the wall. And so I did what I felt. So I pulled my curtains back and I looked out the window and there was nothing there. Then I looked at the wall and I saw this black hand on the wall. And this was at age 9. And I was thinking, like, wow, like Black Hand Gang, I was thinking. That's a spiritual gang. It's also, from London. It might have been connected to my grandfather, who might have been a member of the Black Hand Gang. I'm not sure. But that was my first encounter. Pulled the curtain back, looked at that. There's no reflection on the glass. The glass was clear. And then when I looked at the wall, there's a reflection of the hand on the wall. And that was the first. And then from then on, little bits along the way. But by age 12, I'd seen quite a lot. But my grandfather came to visit me when he died. I was in bed. I kept my head under the covers because he was a very stern man, a big man. My grandfather came to visit me, and I knew he brought his dog with him, but I never saw the dog. Anyway, I felt his energy, and I was a little bit nervous. And what actually happened was, when the morning come, I looked under the chest of drawers for some reason. I just felt this urge to look under the chest of drawers, and there was dust there. And when I looked into the dust, I saw a footprint, an imprint of my dog's paw. My grandfather's dog's paw was in the imprint to prove that he brought the dog. and that was that was age 11, and age 12. It really overtook me, because age 12, I woke up at 3 a.m. and to my amazement, there was a figure sitting on my bed dressed in white. It was a druid, and he was a druid, and those masks you wear for sword fighting, he had a mask on, so I couldn't see his face very well. And I was thinking to myself, wow, what kind of ghost are you? I could see the weave of the cloth of the gown that he was wearing. I couldn't see through him. He was solid matter.
Right.
And like he materialized there. And I was thinking, like, what kind of ghost are you? And using telepathy, the spirit said to me, like, he's here, he's performing a sermon over me, like I was a prince performing a sermon over me. And because I needed a sermon performed over me, because I was going to experience some trauma for the next few years, unfortunately, as a child, I experienced trauma. So, but before the trauma, he was there. And he was performing a sermon over me, and he said it's from Glastonbury, where King Arthur is buried. King Arthur of the Knights of the Round Table, and like Merlin has sent him to perform, to put a magical blanket, a veil, over my person. So I did experience trauma, sadly. And what happened was, it was like, even though I experienced trauma at a young age, it was like I weren't really there. I was being abused, and it's like I wasn't really there. And that was the sort of protection that the druid offered me. And then on another occasion, I woke up, I opened my eyes, and I didn't move this time. I was laying in bed, and I opened my eyes, and beside my bed was a shade, a black shade. And this black shade was looking at my bookcase, and in my bookcase was a book called King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. And Merlin is known for summoning and conjuring shades to perform tasks for him. And that shade was sent to me by Merlin. And that shade is also a spirit guide as well. And so was the druid. They are both my spirit guides, and they have been ever since. And Merlin is my guardian angel. I'll tell you about Merlin later. But they were the good ones. And then one time I woke up, what's that noise? And my door kept opening and closing by itself, rubbing the carpet as it was doing so. And it was behind the door was a demon. I couldn't see very well because it was dark, but there was a demon behind the door, opening and closing the door. And I'd done a silly thing. I sat up and looked, didn't I? And it just went on for ages. And I eventually fell back to sleep. And another occasion, I woke up, so I moved my bed to another location by the door. And when I woke up, standing on the landing, solid matter, by the way, was a demon, like an Ilfrit or a shaitan, a demon known as an Ilfrit or a shaitan. I get mixed up between the two, standing on my hallway. And I was like, wow. And my brother said to me, he saw that the night before. And he said he was in bunk beds. He was on the top bunk. He said when it come to him, he opened his eyes and it brushed its hair out the way, and he had white eyes. He was looking at my brother with white eyes, and my brother shut his eyes and went back to sleep. So, like, if there's any questions you'd like to ask, but that's like the sort of youth I had. And then I had like 20 years of like spirits around me, but nothing really happening. And then I was a successful businessman in my early 20s. And then it all began again. A paranormal phenomena entered my life at the age of 32, 34. When I was a nightclub owner, I saw the dog on the dance floor jumping up and down, wagging its tail. But there was no one there. And it was looking up, waggling its tail and jumping up and down and doing tricks. And there was no one there. I later realised it was Merlin standing there, playing with the dog. Yeah, wow. I found that out much later. I'd become a voice hearer 25 years ago, and 8 years I had a voice in my head. Very unpleasant. After 8 years, I didn't understand what I was going through. I thought I was going insane. I asked the spirits, am I going insane? I got a voice in my head, and they said, no, you're not going insane. I said, well, I could hear voices coming through the plug and things like that. And I tried to commit suicide and drive my car off a cliff. The police arrested me, and they for my own protection, and stopped it from happening. Then I had thought the spirit left me after 8 years because I failed my suicide, because the spirit tried to drive me to suicide. the spirit left me, and 4 years I had peace and tranquility, and I was living life like a normal person. And then 4 years later, I got another spiritual entity, a dark lord, come into me, and like I'm still hear the voices to this day of this. He's been with me 15 years. I've got a spirit that does actually. It's very unpleasant to me. Although I'm stronger than the spirit, and I won't allow myself to commit suicide, not this time. In fact, what I've done is I have built an empire on Facebook, few 100,000 members in my groups. I've organised podcasts, numerous podcasts for people. I help people, I shine the light on people, and I create awareness, and I give people a platform to stand on to help them promote the fact that paranormal phenomena is real. Some people are born blessed with phenomenal experiences, and all cursed with phenomenal experiences, and some people are blessed with phenomenal gifts as well, and that is real. They're not fake or frauds. Obviously there are some out there, or some are delusional, admittedly, but they're not. I tune into people that are the real deal, you know. And spirits can touch you, feel you, throw you about, embrace you. They can do whatever they like. Some spirits can, and like, I've experienced a bit of everything, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I call myself a mystic. It's much simpler. I'm not in control of my gift. I've experienced remote viewing, telepathy, mind reading, voice hearing. I'm not in control of my gift. It just comes at random, you know. And I don't know how to switch it on or switch it off. It just comes. I'm like a conduit to spirits. And also, I'll be honest with you, I collect rings which have spirits attached to them. I get spirits in America, sorcerers, to spellbind spirits to rings willingly. The spirits connect to the rings. They send it to me, and I wear the rings. And spirits that's attached to the ring may or may not talk to me. Depends how the spirit feels. I've had some amazing experiences from rings, awesome, which are amulets, you know.
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting right there now.
So I was watching your show the other day when you was doing a live, and you got some great guests on there. I think her name was Shelly or Sherry.
Sherry Brett, yeah, she's a witch and paranormal investigator.
He has a great show. It's good. So we got a few people in the chat room. We got let's see who we got in here. Josh Simmons says hello, Bradley.
Oh, Josh. Hello, Josh. Thank you for joining me. Wow.
Truth, Shell Reagan, Roy, Bird Dog, Adam. Good to see you.
Oh.
Renee.
Oh, Renee. Wow.
Yeah. So you got quite a following there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, well, I'm sincere and I'm passionate. I don't share misinformation and I don't tell lies. A Hierophant Knight, by the way, I heard you asking. A Hierophant is, to be a Hierophant, first of all, you've got to follow a druid path, which I do. I'm a druid, self-ordained druid. To be a fully pledged Hierophant takes 20 years. I've been a Hierophant, which is a high druid priest, for 8 years. So I'm not fully pledged, although to be a Hierophant, you have to be born a Taurus, which just so happens my birthday to 26th of April. So I'm a Taurus. And like, Merlin come into my life about 15 years ago. Merlin's been with me all the time. And like Merlin made himself, an apparition of Merlin appeared before my eyes. And I thought like, wow, in the English dictionary, it says Merlin the King Arthur are fallacies, fables, myths. Yet I live 30 miles from where Merlin was born. I live 50 miles from where King Arthur was born. King Arthur's buried at Glastonbury Abbey. How does the English dictionary explain that? And I've seen Merlin. He's come to me. He's been in me. He's been outside of me. He's manifested before my eyes. And Merlin introduced me to tarot card reading. He introduced me to scrying the mirror. He introduced me to the craft, the occult. And I didn't know any of this. And like from him, I've learned so much. Absolutely beyond belief. What I've learned goes beyond human comprehension. Like I realize magic is real. And it goes beyond human comprehension that I don't expect everyone to believe what I'm saying, because you've got to experience it to recognize that, yeah, it's real. And spirits are real as well. We never die, by the way. Our consciousness lives on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that, once we pass, then, who we really are, or our spirit, or whatever you want to call it, can stick around, do whatever, but I believe that we do reincarnate. I do believe that we come back.
Also, you saying that we reincarnate, yes, we do. If we are sleepwalkers, if we are awake, then when we cross over, we have the opportunity, the option to reincarnate, or we can elevate onto a higher plane and move on in a new direction. We don't have to reincarnate if we are awake and if we recognize the truth. And we're all searching for the truth. The biggest truth we're looking for is, who are we? How did we get here? Who created us? God created us, didn't he? Or did the Anunnaki, did extraterrestrials create us by splicing and dicing the monkey gene and coming up with us? You know,
Right.
I mean, who created us? God, extraterrestrials, or Darwin says evolution. So there's three options of how we got here.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
So you was talking about King Arthur. Did Camelot actually exist? I mean, over here, I don't
Absolutely.
know. It's a myth to us, but you know.
Yeah, absolutely. The debate is, where did Camelot exist? Some say there's a castle in Cornwall that matches Camelot. Some say there's a mound hill with a forest grown all over it. And they're saying that Camelot was not made of stone and like a castle. It was a hill fort. Camelot was a hill fort, and now a forest has grown where the hill fort was. So there is a debate over where Camelot was. Camelot is real, yeah. Same as the Knights of the Round Table are real. Allegedly, there's a round table hanging in, I think it's Winchester Castle or Nottingham Castle. That I've seen the round table, but it's not the original. They say it's the round table from King Arthur. It's not. It's a few hundred years old, and it's a copy of the round table. It's not the original one, which was cut from a sequoia tree. Sequoia trees are lived to they're over 5,000 years old. They're the biggest trees in the world, and the redwood tree as well. Biggest trees in the world. What have you got? Is it called the Devil's Tower or something, where Close Encounters of the Third Kind was?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
That, I believe that's not a dormant volcano. That's a tree, a redwood or sequoia tree. And trees were that big. They're all over the planet. Trees were that big. And like what happens is the wood petrifies and turns to clay. That's what happens.
Right.
And if you look at the top where it's been sliced, you'll see rings as well, you know, on many of the trees. But what happens is they're petrified. Same as dragons. Did dragons exist? Yes, they did. In the southwest of England, there's a dragon scales that stretch 6 miles long. A road has been built over some of the dragon, but there's dragon scales 6 miles long, petrified, turned to clay in the ground in the southwest of England. And like that used to be, I used to have information on that, but I've had to change devices. I've lost the information, and I've Googled it, and I can't find the location anymore. It's been removed. But dragons were real. 6 miles long, a dragon. Allegedly, there's a dragon petrified in the ground in America, 21 miles long, allegedly. You know?
Wow.
And dragons were here after God created angels, if we follow that route. Dragons were created next. Dragons were here. They're not extraterrestrials. Dragons were here before extraterrestrials were. They were here when it was volcanic ash, terracotta, volcanic ash. That was the ideal habitat for them. But I think dragons become extinct because they used to fight each other. And like also man used to lance them, like King George allegedly fought a dragon, didn't he? But that's about dragons anyway. Yeah, so like any more questions before I continue?
Jason?
Let's see what they got in the chat room going on. Mark says evolution is very limited. Every 400 year, one mutation occurs biologically. It's impossible to have a big bang in evolution. Cretaceous, all life by the fossil record. There have been many genetic leaps which are impossible unless we are bioengineering projects by alien higher intelligence.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that actually. I think, is it possible, right? God created Adam and Eve. Adam, actually, in the scientific term for Adam is atom, and we were born from atoms. Is it and Adam, like allegedly, was 15 foot tall, and Adam and Eve used to levitate around the Garden of Eden when everything was cool between them. They used to levitate. And do you know about Lilith? Lilith's
Yes.
not in the Bible. Lilith
Yep.
was here first.
Yep. That was his
Actually,
first wife.
she was born of the clay. She was made from the clay of the earth, just like Adam. She became the first woman's right activist when you think about it, because she said, no, I'm not bowing down to Adam and doing what Adam tells me to do. I do what I want to do. We're equal. And like, no, you're not equal. Yeah, we are equal. And then she goes outside the Garden of Eden, has parties hard with demons, commits debauchery, gets stoned and whatever. Yeah, God, that offended God, so she got banished from the Garden of Eden, didn't she? The goddess of hell, allegedly. But it's amazing that she's not in the Bible.
Well, and that's the thing too. The lullaby actually is supposed to be like a Lilith-a-by. So it's supposed to be something that mothers sang to their children to get Lilith not to come in, because she was famous for stealing kids and killing kids and mothers. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. Lullabies scare off, and lullaby nursery rhymes have got hidden meanings as well.
Yes.
They're all about stories. Normally, they're not very nice stories as well.
Yep.
Like, I think a tissue, we all fall down. That's about the Black Death. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Yes, he did. Humpty Dumpty was the name of a cannon that was on the wall when it fell down, and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put it together again. Yeah,
Crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, all nursery rhymes have got stories behind them. Normally, they're not very nice stories as well.
Right.
Like Simple Simon met a pirate going to the fair. Let me taste your wares. Yeah, like he was he was a gay man, but like obviously like that. I don't know if that was acceptable back then. I don't think so.
Right.
But yeah, all nursery rhymes have got a message.
So I'm curious. David may know, but I don't know. But you was talking about you were a druid. I really
I follow the druid path.
You explain.
I walk the middle path. Sorry, carry on.
Path. Okay, could you just like sort of lay out the druid path for me?
Merlin introduced me to the druid path. I had no idea what druid. I didn't know what I was, and he introduced me to the druid path. And I walk the middle path. I neither worship nor praise any god or deity. However, I pay homage to them all, the dark and the light. I pay homage to both sides because there's good and bad on both sides. From my experiences, some of the there's daemons and demons. The Christianity took the A out of the word daemons. You got daemons, Daemons. They vibrate on a higher frequency, and they wish to help you enhance your life and enhance the lives of those around you. And for this, they might be offered repentance from God, possibly. However, these daemons, why do they help you? What do they get out of it? Well, you can give them gifts. What do they get out of it? They get to enjoy the experience that they manifested for you because you desired it. They enjoy the experience through you. Then you've got demons, Demons. They are evil. They vibrate on a lower frequency. They despise mankind and they enjoy creating chaos in our minds. And we are all vulnerable. Especially demons target people that are manic depressed, suicidal, depressed, suffering with misery, depression, and they target them kind of people because not all your faults are always your own. I mean, how do you know if your faults are your own? Have you ever had a eureka moment when, wow, I just had this amazing idea? Have you ever thought that might not have been your idea? That could be inspiration from a spirit giving you the idea, but you take it, you claim it as your own because, they may not wish you to know that they gave it to you, but not all your faults are your own sometimes. But we are targeted. There's a parapsychological warfare is on the increase, and we are all, if you can get through life without experiencing dark entities, you've had a right result, in my opinion, really, because I and many others that I know have experienced dark entities. And the reason why they target, I've been attacked by demons, and the reason why is they try to get you to change your path because you're heading in the right direction towards the light. They try to get you to change your path, and that's why you encounter demons in your life, because they get pleasure from our misery. And
Right.
the energy, we all create energy. Energy is the currency of the universe, the currency of the cosmos. The energy we manifest creates lush, and demons feed off lush. Same as angels feed off our positive energy. We've all got angels attached to us, by the way. You may or you may never see them or encounter them, but they're there. Believe me, they are. I'm not religious, by the way. I just thought I'd say that. I believe in Jesus Christ, yet I'm not a Christian. I believe there's a God, but I'm not religious. You don't have to be religious to pay homage to Jesus Christ.
Right.
I think it's what we call agnostic, sort of. Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Agnostic is the right path. Agnostic is good.
yeah.
Bravo. Don't be an atheist. Don't be a hater either. Hater will chew you up inside like a disease. Like an open wound, hate will fester like an open wound, and it creates sour and bitterness. Don't be a hater. You know,
Right. So,
be a lover.
there's another thing I wanted to bring up. I got many things, but you've helped like 15 young men who had committed suicide to leave purgatory and head towards the light. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you for sharing that with me. What happened was, like, this spirit can do the most amazing of things. A youngster called Chris come to me, and he put a transparent typewriter in my hands in front of me, and he typed out the words "help me." And I looked left, and I said, like, "Help you? Like, you know, what do you want me to do? How can I help you?" And then I saw there were other spirits around him that were, and he was their spokesman. And he was young. He was a transvestite. I admit that, and I ain't got a problem with that. I support LGBT, and like he was a transvestite, and we've all got souls. We're all people. We've all got blood. And like he said, "Help me," and he was a flourishing young man, and a demon got into him and led him on a path to suicide, and he committed suicide, and so did the others commit suicide. And I know the demon that caused them to commit suicide. I know the demon that caused them to commit suicide. And like he isolates his victims and makes them think that their parents are talking about them. And then like they leave home, and then he targets them even more and leads them on the path to suicide. And what happened was, so Merlin introduced me to the craft, some will call the occult, and I performed a sermon, which I've got written. The sermon that I performed is written in my Book of Shadows, which I have here. This is a Book of Shadows, and it's locked. I'll unlock it, and I'll just show you like the first page. This is a Book of Shadows. In here is rituals. That's a treble clef. That is. In here, this book is made of cotton paper, and is in that book that's my Book of Shadows. In that book it's like a grimoire. I wrote the ritual and summons and conjured spiritual entities to hear me out. To like, I need help. I need there's spirits that follow me around, and they are in purgatory because they committed suicide. When you commit suicide, this is debatable, I know, but from my experience, when you commit suicide, you don't go to heaven, you don't go to hell, you don't go to another place or in the netherworld. You are in purgatory, and you're vulnerable, and it's an unpleasant place to be. And they came to me, so I summoned and conjured a ritual to help them to be offered a safe passage to the gates of heaven, where they could be allocated to the correct location. I saw them leave. They left me, but I didn't see the gates of heaven, but I believe that they actually went to the gates of heaven where they were allocated to the correct location. And believe it or not, Archangel Gabriel offered them a safe passage to the gates of heaven. And like Archangel Gabriel, he came into my life. I was having an argument on the phone with my wife, like, "Hello, missus," like, you know, we'd split up and we was arguing. And she said to me, "I can't believe it, Archangel Gabriel's with me now." And I was going, you know, "Is he really?" And she said, "Penitence." And I had to Google the word penitence because I didn't know what it meant. And penitence means that she was basically saying to me, she's really sorry. She's really sorry for all the bad deeds that she's done to me during the past that caused me to leave her. She's sorry, she's apologising, and she's pleading penitence. and she meant it as well. And Archangel Gabriel was trying to stop us from arguing, and you know, so like, and that's how I encountered Archangel Gabriel. I've encountered like another angel as well that came into my lounge. I could tell you that story if you want.
Yes.
I was looking at the computer on a Saturday afternoon, and our monitors, TVs, mobile phones, mirrors are portholes for spirits to travel through. Okay, just so you know. And like, I was looking at the desktop computer monitor, and a spirit, a demon, come out of the monitor and jumped into me. And I was thinking at Saturday afternoon, I was thinking a demon just jumped into me. What am I going to do about that? And then at 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon, I was standing upright. I don't drink. I don't like take drugs or nothing. I'm not an alcoholic or a stoner. I was totally grounded, and an angel made of translucent light appeared before me, and she embraced me, and she said not to trust the demons I got in me. And she actually went inside my body, and she touched the demon, and she actually got rid of him. And the demon actually evaporated, disintegrated into the air. You know, she exterminated the demon. So angels are stronger than demons are by far.
Yeah. Roger, you got anything you want to ask?
You know, he's just talking about a dragon being chained up here in the United States. I forget what state it is, but there is a chain across a mountain. And then on one side of the mountain, there is scales. It looks like dragon scales.
Oh.
Thank you for validating that. I'd love to know more about that, to be honest with you. Well, look at the Grand Canyon. What's in the Grand Canyon? A sphinx, pyramids, out of bounds to Americans, because otherwise you might discover the truth.
Yeah. That's pretty wild.
Like you probably know that anyway, but Grand Canyon's out of bounds. Like, yeah, because they don't want us to know our history. Do they? Our history is a lie, written by the victors.
Yeah, that's a certain spot where that's at. It is banned. Yeah, you'll go to jail.
Yeah, they've got you can't go down into this area where supposedly it's like a cave, and it's got all kinds of Egyptian artifacts in it and crazy things. So I just wonder how that got over here.
Well,
weird
pyramids over the place, you know.
Yeah.
And the South Pole,
So,
you know.
I also learned from Merlin. Yeah. So I'm on a druid path. There's good and bad on both sides. I pay homage to both sides. Okay. Some not all, I know this is going to cause dispute. Not all demons are bad. Okay. Christianity has labelled everything outside of the Bible. If it's not from God or angels, it's evil. If it happens, if angels do it, it's a miracle. If it happens from God, it's a miracle. Miracles happen in the Bible. Anything outside of that is magic, and magic is evil. That's why we're not allowed to stay away from the occult, because it's evil. Well, there is evil. It can be evil. It's down to the initiate, down to the mage, down to the magician. If you want to spellbind people with darkness or light, it's up to you. Give magic the color. Magic has no color.
So
I'll give you an example.
like
Nostradamus, philosopher. You know, Nostradamus was a philosopher, and he got a lot of things right. Ever thought he wasn't really a philosopher? He was called a philosopher because that was acceptable at the time, but he was actually a psychic. Okay, it was a psychic, possibly a psychic medium, but definitely a psychic, and he predicted, because he's psychic. But they called them philosophers because psychic is a form of magic, isn't it? Really, which is debatable as well.
Right. So would that include when you say that you give it the color because it's colorless? Would that be intent? So your intent when you're doing whatever it is would give that, positive, negative, or whatever.
Summons and conjure from the craft or the occult, the esoteric library. There is you can summon angels from the esoteric library as well. Words are spells, spells are spellings, spellings are spells. When God said go spread the gospel. Go spell everyone with the gospel. Go spell gospel. Spells the spellings. There's a play of words, you know, and like words of power actually can create ripples in the cosmos, causing manifestations to occur. That's how magic works. Words of power, like us being here, we use words of power to create the manifestation of this show using words of power, didn't we? Really?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
in a way, you two are magicians in your own right, but you may not even realise it.
Would have never have thought of it in that context, actually. Yeah.
The tarot card, the first card is card 0, the Fool, because we are all fools. We think we know it all, yet the more you learn, the more you realise you don't. The more you know, the more you realise you don't know, because there's so much information out there. I've experienced more than the average man, yet I don't know everything, you know, because I realised that not everything is as it seems. I've realised anything is possible as well. You know, I just attract phenomenal spirits, you know, phenomenal people. I met the most amazing people. Oh, well, I've met you two now, haven't I? One behind Steve.
Yeah.
Amazing people sharing the light, bringing words of wisdom to the public. Yeah.
Well, it's an honor to meet you too.
It is. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. And thanks
yeah, so I had a chapel, at my last address, and like it was like a chapel, and like I had a lot of spiritual activity there. I heard, my sister-in-law, I gave her an Ouija board, and she left the planchette on the Ouija board at her home, and she walked in and she said it spelled out the word evil, so she brought it back to me, give it to me, and left. And then, like next minute, I know I got a black figure of a monk standing in my front room, like that come with the Ouija board. I couldn't believe what I saw in daylight. This is. I'm never asleep when I experience all these. By the way, I'm awake, wide awake, standing upright, wide awake. And there was a demonic. There was a monk, and so she come down to visit me, and I said, "You brought a monk with you, a Ouija board." Anyway, we went into my chamber where I summons and conjure. And she was scrying the mirror, and she said, "Look, there's a monk in the mirror." And then she goes, "Oh, my back feels really sore." And she lifted up her top, and the back, she has 6 deep scratches on her back. And I was going like, "Yeah, like you can see the blood, like, you know, wow, 6 deep scratches." And she said, she's a bit psychic herself. She said a little girl did that to her because the little girl don't like women. And what happened was the monk, I think the monk may have raped the little girl, and the little girl died. And like he's been he's in purgatory himself, really. And like I think he might have wanted me to perform a sermon on his behalf. And like the little girl, don't like women, and she scratched my sister-in-law's back 6 places, quite deep as well. Got to be honest. Wow, I've been scratched a few times on the face and other places.
I've been scratched by my right ear going down towards my shoulder once before.
Wow.
Tell him about that.
So I had a house it was pretty haunted.
This is how we got started doing this in 2012. So this story's pretty cool.
And this is what got Jason to kind of start believing in the paranormal too. Which, like I said, you know, when we was talking before the show, you know, I've seen ghosts my whole life, kind of like you have. And so I buy this house, and it was kind of weird how it happened too. I just passed by, there was a sign, and I was like, "Hey, just something drew me to the house." It seemed like, but purchased the house and move in, and then, you know, just things slowly start happening, just kind of the way I guess it works in houses that are haunted. But this was a little girl, and I actually had got to see her before, but we would play a game on Saturday mornings. Usually I'd wake up before everybody else in the house would, and I'd go in, turn on the TV, and turn on the surround sound, which had this big knob on the front of it to where you could manually turn it up and down also. And so I'd turn it on like 3, you know, so then that way it wouldn't wake everybody in the house up. you know, and so I'm sitting there watching TV. Then all of a sudden it would just go to max. And the only way to do that is to turn the knob on the front of the thing. And so I'd sit there and start turning it down with the remote, and I'd get, you know, down to about 15 or 12 or something, and it go right back to max while I'm sitting there going down. So me and this little girl would play this. It was almost an every Saturday thing that we'd play this little game. And then finally I'd be like, okay, we're going to have to stop because we're going to wake everybody up. And then it would just stop. And so she actually let me see her once. It was on Easter night, about 9 o'clock at night. She came out of the middle bedroom and she was in this big, really pretty green Easter dress. And so, but that's where I told Jason, I said, hey, I said, let's go do an investigation at my house. And Jason's like, oh, okay. So we'll bring some stuff over and start doing some EVP sessions and stuff. And Jason sits there and is sitting in my chair, and all of a sudden, you know, this thing's just going crazy on his leg. And he says, are you sitting in my lap? And then like 3 seconds later, you hear like a little kid's voice go, yes. But I was sitting in that same chair when I got scratched. I think I wasn't paying attention to her one night, and I was watching TV, and I felt it start burning on my neck right below my ear. And I jumped up and ran into the bathroom and looked, and there was 3 scratches like that right there going down my neck. And I was like, well, all right. We got an awesome picture too of her, don't we, Jason?
Yeah.
You could actually show it, can't you?
I can, if you'd like to see it.
Would you like to see
absolutely.
it?
Absolutely.
I had to flip it.
It's a little girl.
But by the way,
validate what I said about spirits can scratch you if they wish for attention. Yeah. You know, it don't mean they mean you harm. It can be for attention.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like it was done, you know, maliciously or anything. It felt like it was just, hey, you know, pay attention. We play this game. You talk to me all the time, and all of a sudden you're watching TV and you're not paying attention to me. You know, that's kind of what it was like. It was like a little kid saying, pay attention to me.
Do you know what that makes you? A conduit of sorts, a conduit, you know, like clairvoyant really, but conduit. Yeah, like spirits are attracted to you. You need to maybe like pay attention to detail, pay attention to yourself and like your environment. Because if that's happening one time, our spirit scratcher, that means there's more coming your way. You probably got a load of dead people following you around, you know, like I have.
Yeah, I know. I know there's times we go to places and I can feel the energy of the place. Like when we went, like we was talking before the show, you know, we went to Chickamauga, and which was the second bloodiest battle in the Civil War. And it felt like 100-pound sack was on my back the whole time we were there. Felt sick to my stomach. I mean, it was pretty intense place. I actually saw a Confederate soldier there too. He was over on the side over there, and he was waving. He took his hat off and was waving at me like that right there.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was intense. It was intense.
Yeah, so you are. You're sensitive, definitely.
Yeah.
If you feel it, you're sensitive, and like you could be a medium as well. Maybe you don't know how to switch it on or switch it off. The spirits come to you; they're attracted to you. There's something about you they like. You know, they normally they got a message for you. They'd like you to pass on.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, so like I say, not all your thoughts are your own. Sometimes they can come to you in dream state as well. Dreamscape.
Yeah.
You know. I have a lot of lucid dreams as well, but like my wife who's no longer with me, and like you know, we had a roller coaster ride together, and like you know, it's over, and like I'd like to be left alone in peace. Thank you very much. She haunts me in my dreams, and like you know, I know I don't want to go back. You know, I don't want to get married again. Like you know, oh dear. My wife haunts me in my dreams.
Yeah, let me show you the picture here.
Oh, thank you very much.
Let's see, window.
So look over to his. Can you see it?
Let me.
Oh yeah. So if you look over to his, if as you're looking at the photo, it's on the right hand side. So I'll kind of set it up for you because this was my
Wow.
old house.
I see.
You see her?
I
She
see.
looks like hanging upside down right there. With
Yeah.
eyes in her mouth and everything. Yeah. So that was my stepson taking a photo for his Facebook, and he caught her in it. And the next thing I know is I got a call while I was at work, and they're like, you need to come home now. And
I see that clearly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty wild. That's what got us started in this. Our first website was myhouseishaunted.com.
yeah,
It was,
that's how we
but
started.
that was in 2012, and we've been doing it ever since then. It's been great. Tell you
Well,
what.
since 2012. Wow, you've done really
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I admire you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, well done in doing that. Yeah. Yeah, sharing the truth. That's what, yeah.
Our
About,
first,
yeah, phenomenal experiences.
the name of our first podcast was, like David said, Project Dark Corona. So we was Corona before Corona.
Ooh,
Got famous. Yeah,
wow.
we was
Why did you call it that?
it was. But the first American spy satellite program in the 50s was called Project Dark Corona.
Okay.
We were doing a
Yeah.
lot of
We
conspiracy.
did a lot
then.
of conspiracy stuff and things like that,
Yeah.
you know.
I
So
used to do a lot of conspiracy theories, which are true, backed by facts and links and all that to support the fact that I'm telling the truth. And like we're FBI labelled as conspiracy theorists, when in fact we're truth seekers. And 6 months later, after our conspiracy theories would come out, the facts would start to manifest, proving that we're telling the truth. And anyway, I got closed down. Don't talk about conspiracy theory.
yes,
Like
no,
911. Ooh,
yeah,
you know.
right.
We-
Or well, you know, they're about to be releasing all the Kennedy files, so I'm waiting to see where this goes.
Yeah, when I first happened, I texted David and said, "Hey, you know, the Kennedy files are going to be open."
Yep.
It may not be jaw-dropping things. There might be a few names mentioned. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that they have told the story over the years.
What are some big conspiracies in the UK? I really don't know any.
911. What about the recently those children that died on that airplane? They're saying someone was on the airplane that had to die with the children. Someone was on the airplane. A helicopter hit an airplane, and all these children died.
yes.
I think they were Christians as well. Not sure.
Yeah, the skating, the ice skating team. Yeah.
911. It's impossible for an airplane to bring a building down made of steel. In the during the Second World War, a bomber hit a iron girder tower block, hit it and exploded and wiped out the whole floor. That was it. But the building stayed intact, and that was a bomber hit a building. You know what I mean? It's impossible to bring. And the demolition, boom, 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 boom. You know, like no way on earth. You know, what I mean, they must think we're really stupid.
They do. They're hoping we are stupid. That's what it is. What's funny is that building was actually made and designed to take a airplane hit because it was the tallest. You know, when they were built in the area, and I'm trying to think, it was in the 60s, 50s, 60s, somewhere around there. It actually had been hit by a plane once before.
It was built in the 70s, so it was
70s.
It was already 70s, yeah.
So, but it had been hit by a plane once before.
The Pentagon got hit by a plane. Oh, yeah. And what happened when the 911? What happened when those buildings went down? $1 trillion of documents of debt that American owed was wiped out. Wiped out. All those trillions of dollars. There's no evidence of that. So it's all wiped out. You know?
Yep.
All went down. And in the rubble, everything was demolished. But in the rubble, they found some passports belonging to some Arabs, the terrorists. There you go. We got the passport. It was Arab terrorists.
What's funny about that is that some of the people actually started calling and said, "Hey, I'm alive. That's not me. You're sitting here calling me a terrorist and everything." And they started calling in saying, "Hey, I'm still alive. What are you talking about?" You know?
Yeah. Yeah, Bin Laden was buried at sea. Oh, come off it. an Arab terrorist, most wanted man in the world, buried at sea. No one
Right.
saw his face or nothing. He's probably living in luxury under Area 51 in the bunkers. The
Probably.
luxurious $1 billion bunkers. Along with Saddam Hussein.
Windows, every man in black cars are outside.
And the Epstein Islands. What about the Epstein? All those visitors. Prince Andrew visited, wasn't it? The
Yeah.
Epstein Island.
Yeah.
And and Prince Charles threw him out of Buckingham Palace. Brought shame on the family. Yeah, the royal family are reptilians, shape-shifting reptilians. Allegedly, they got blue blood. But from what I understand, we've all got blue blood. When our blood is touched by oxygen, it turns red.
Red, yes, yeah. I have done a lot of research on blue blood, and I think I know where a lot of it comes from, though.
Rh negative.
Rh negative actually has more copper in their blood than most other people do, and it causes that blue blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm Rh negative.
Do you bleed blue?
No, I bleed red.
Okay.
We've got part of our brain is reptilian, which they called it junk. It's junk DNA. It's not actually. It's part reptilian, which means that we were interfered with in our youth back millennia ago. The Anunnaki come here 460,000 years ago, 450,000 years ago, and they were master genealogists, stepbrother Enlil and Enki, master genealogists, and they went to work. They had the IgG mining for gold, and we're meant to be similar to the IgG, who were demigods. And they rebelled and said, we're not mining for gold because the toil was hard. Monatomic gold. And you could buy monatomic gold today and colloidal silver. You could buy. If you take monatomic gold, it will actually enhance your psychicness. And plus you'll live longer, removes fatigue. Although it's simulated monatomic gold, it still allegedly works. So that's just something for your food for thought. Colloidal gold is good for you as well. Allegedly might remove cancer as well. There's plenty of cures for cancer, by the way. They say they're trying to find a cure for cancer. There's plenty of cures.
I do believe that.
Yep. There's tons of people who have cured themselves. A lot of them actually started eating better. Here in America, our FDA, and this ain't even a conspiracy theory, but our FDA is crap. They let us eat things that most other countries don't even allow in the country.
Yeah. Well, they did take red dye out.
When?
I think, yeah. Well, they took the red.
I think red dye number 9 still in. I think we still get it.
I think it's illegal now.
Yeah, it's illegal in most other countries. Most other countries won't allow
red meat. Allegedly, red meat gives you cancer. There's many things. But there's moringa. We've all got parasites in us, by the way. I'm following that route. I'm taking moringa. I want some ivermectin next, if you can get hold of any. And these are parasites. You will poop out parasites that are in your body, and parasites, they manifest cancer in your body. If you want to remove cancer, take ivermectin, turmeric and moringa and stuff like that. Research. That's what I say. Don't take what I'm saying as gospel. Research it. It might not. Google doesn't say it removes cancer, but it does. These magic mushrooms removes cancer as well. Although you can't walk around tripping all day on magic mushrooms. But if they made it into a pill, hemp oil removes cancer. You know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Marijuana. If you smoke marijuana, you won't catch cancer. Because marijuana can't breed in a stoner for some reason. Unless it gets stoned.
I heard that recently that marijuana kills cancer cells.
Yeah.
Cancer.
That would go as to why they would not want it to be legalized.
Yeah.
And if they legalized it, they could tax it. Think of the money they would make. There wouldn't be so many gangsters around. And you can buy it in this country. You're allowed to grow 3 plants. And the doctor can prescribe you marijuana, but they've taken the THC in it, or whatever it's called, out of it, so you don't get high on it. But it does ease your pain. because marijuana can heal pain. It's a healing drug, isn't it? Really?
Which we have that. What is that called? The where they sell it at the stores?
CBD.
CBD. Yeah, that's the non-THC hemp plant. But we've got quite a few states that have legalized marijuana.
You can go in and smoke.
You could go into a building and purchase.
Well,
buds.
I mean, we've got one state or a couple that have legalized recreational drugs altogether.
Yeah. Oregon is one that's, I mean, you name it, you want to shoot heroin in the middle of the streets, they let you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they have spots
really
you go to and sit down.
Well,
and
they've got needle places
shoot
that you
up.
could go get needles. Yeah. That's insane to me.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
that's a little far on the other side.
So, Bradley, we're going to let you take a quick break. We got a commercial to play, and then it's probably about 6-7 minutes.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
And we'll come back and talk some more.
Okay, and I'll reveal more phenomenal experiences with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good conversation. Just want to thank you again for coming on.
Thank you very much.
It's a
and
pleasure.
thank you for doing this. I mean, I know it's early. So
yeah. Oh, so
very late one.
I've got my coffee. I've been drinking loads of coffee, so I'm all
that's
right.
what I was about to say. You got some coffee?
All right, I'm gonna put you back behind the scene here for a minute, and we'll do our little spiel and come back in about 7 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Hey, Roger, will you handle that?
We've been talking to Bradley Powers. If you just joined us, he's a mystic and spiritual advisor.
Oh, yes.
We're right now at close to the 1 hour mark. We're going to take a quick break. David might do his spiel.
Oh, man. Hey, remember, you can find us at paranormal411.org, paranormal411 on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. Remember, you could tune in live every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also on Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, Saturday nights at 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. If you're in the metro Atlanta area, you catch us at wdjyfm.com. Remember, if you're in the metro Atlanta area, you listen on 99.1 FM. And you could also listen at wdjyfm.com, or you could go to paranormal411.org and click the link. Remember, we're also on Subspace Radio on all podcast platforms. We do have a book out.
Yes,
It's been out for a little bit. East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore Edition 2. It is available on Amazon or at paranormal411.org. Join us.
Yeah, join us.
Nice little book here.
So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have some more Bradley Powers.
I can't wait.
It's
a lot more
fun.
questions.
Yeah, man, he's great.
Yeah.
Roger, you got anything for the break?
Nope. I'm fine.
All right, here we go.
Let's go.
In the heart of Madisonville, Tennessee, lies a pizzeria like no other. Step through the door of Legends and Lore Pizzeria and be transported to a realm where paranormal and cryptid encounters, along with mouth-watering pizza, go hand in hand. Meet Eddie and his crew, who serve up slices of the supernatural along with the best pies in town. With the walls adorned with eerie artifacts, indulge in piping hot slices that melt in your mouth and tease your taste buds. And it's not just the locals who love the incredible pizza. Legends and Lore has been selected as the best pizza joint in all of Monroe County. As lovers of everything pizza and the paranormal, the owners have mastered the art of crafting unforgettable combinations that will leave you wanting more. To stay connected with this mystical eatery, follow Legends and Lore Pizzeria on Facebook, where tales of their latest creations and upcoming specials will be shared. Make sure to browse their custom menu, featuring legendary pizzas like the Chupacabra Ranch and the Exorcist. So, whether you have an appetite for the supernatural or simply seek the best pizza in town, Legends and Lore is the place to be. Come for the unforgettable flavors, stay for the captivating stories, and find yourself in a world where legends and pizza collide.
What if the world we know is merely a fraction of reality? What if there are forces, entities, and phenomena that exist just beyond our comprehension in the shadows of the unknown? Welcome to Paranormal 411, your gateway to the unexplained and the downright chilling.
Get ready to rock with the electrifying sound of Catalyst, a band that's sure to leave you wanting more. With their powerful lyrics and killer riffs, Catalyst is a great sound in the world of rock music. You can listen and find Catalyst on Bandcamp, or go to the link at paranormal411.org and click on their banner.
All right, we are back.
I just barely made it back.
You just barely made it back. So if you just joined us, we're talking with Bradley Powers. He's in the UK right now. It's a little late over there, but he is a mystic and a spiritual advisor. And we've had a great show so far. I'm going to bring him back on. Bradley.
Hello. Woo. It's amazing. This is alien technology we're using right now.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
Really, yeah.
So,
Man, isn't that smart?
how late is it in the UK?
Well, okay then. Now you've asked me. It's 2:00 in the morning, guys.
Oh my gosh.
You awakened me from my crib.
You are,
You awoken me from my slumber.
you know, we're going to have many more of these shows with you, I hope. And so just get used to it. So I know you was talking about a transition from, you know, you were a nightclub owner and then you had a transition. What, I know you talked about it briefly, but exactly what happened?
Yeah, when I've become a voice hero, what happened, Jason, is I lost my empire. I did have a car showroom at one time, and I lost my empire. I was a very successful businessman in my younger days. By the time I reached 32, 33, 34, I lost my empire. I become a voice hero. People thought I was going mad. You know, I didn't really tell anyone. I never went to see a doctor or anything like that. I just handled it myself for 8 years, and very malicious. I didn't know voice hearing existed. Then I had a 4-year break, and everything was okay. It left me. I want to call it a demon left me, but it wasn't really a demon. I'm going to tell you something, okay, that you may not know. This is a secret. There are people walking this earth that are dark lords. I'll give you an example. some people are on this earth are born with phenomenal gifts, and they can heal you. They can heal you using telekinesis. They can heal you using cancer. They can predict your future, the path you're taking right now. They're psychics, telekinesis, shamans. They can predict and help you and heal you. Now, can you imagine, right? There's also people walking this earth are narcissists, and they've been blessed with phenomenal gifts as well, and they get pleasure from other people's miseries, from wrecking their life. And I've encountered the first 8 years, that was a living, breathing person who's been blessed with phenomenal gifts that enjoys wrecking people's lives, and he chose to wreck my life, and he did wreck it, and like I lost my business and everything. And then I had a 4-year break when he left me, thank Christ. And after my failed suicide, he left me. And then I got this one. I've had 15 years. I've remote viewed the entity that's in me, and like he is alive. He lives 100 miles away. What happened was my wife went to see this guy in Devon to give up smoking, and he transferred his energy into her. So when she left him, said goodbye, I want to give up smoking, he went, I will help you. He charged her £60 an hour, and she left him. And when she came to me, she looked into my eyes, and he jumped from her into me. And like spirit said to me, I've got something in me. And I went, what? Like a psychic medium? What? And they go, no, more evil than that. And like, I didn't know what they was. I didn't understand what they were trying to tell me. And then to my horror, I have got an entity in me, and like I've remote viewed him. He lives 100 miles away in Dawlish, in Torquay, in Devon, and he's asleep right now, but he's watching this show at the same time, and he's got the ability to make me feel really uncomfortable. He can do the most amazing of things. Well, so can I. I don't know how I did it, but I remote viewed him, and I've seen his family, I've seen his grandchildren, I know their names, and like I've seen him sitting in his chair messing with my head. And like the reason why I'm not suicidal is I am stronger than he is. Yes, granted, he can use telekinesis on me and make me suffer stomach cramps. He could turn my urine into acid. So when I pee acid water. He could do the most amazing of things, make me itch all over, give me thrush. He could do, there's a list of what he could do to me. However, I don't feel suicidal because I believe there's a way to get rid of him. I really do. And that is by going to the craft and looking for rituals to summons and conjure to protect myself and rid me of him. Some spiritual entities can help me to get rid of him, I believe, because this is quantum mysticism we're talking here, and people don't know this, but there's good shamans out there that can help you to heal you. They use frequencies, quantum mysticism, but they can use frequencies. Frequencies cure cancer. Frequencies can cure anything. It's the truth, and the government don't want you to know this. Well, there's also people out there that have been blessed with phenomenal gifts that are narcissists, and they get pleasure from other people's misery. And I've got one in me right now, and I've got to try and figure out how to get rid of him.
Right.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, you know, that's a pretty fascinating topic in its own on the frequencies, because there's scientific evidence even that points to this. You know, you could do, anybody out there that's listening to this could get a jar of rice that's made, boil it, put some in one jar, put some in another. One of them only speak good things to it. The other one, hateful things to it, right? The one that you speak hateful things to it will start turning black.
Yeah.
The other one will stay beautiful white. And that's something that you can do in your own house. And some other scientists, this Japanese scientist has started doing the same type of thing with freezing water droplets. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's it's so amazing, because it'll do like love and, you know, just all these things like that. And then they'll freeze that water droplet, and it'll be this beautiful asymmetric, looks like a snowflake, right? But anytime you say terrible things, bad things, whatever, right? Call it names, just whatever it is, you're putting that negative energy on it. It becomes just this blob when they freeze it. It's not this beautiful asymmetric shape. It's really interesting.
I believe you. You could do that with water. Words are like swords as well. Words are swords. You could make a person feel like crap, and
Yes.
depressed and suicidal with words, spells and spellings, spellings and spells. And that works the same with frost, ice, water. Yeah. Also, trees, and believe it or not, trees and plants have consciousness. Okay. If a murder happened by a tree, a psychic could go to the tree and touch the tree, and the tree would reflect a memory of what actually happened involving the murder nearby. Yeah, trees store memory as well. Trees have feelings, believe it or not, so do plants. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, consciousness lives in all. Only it's not the same as there's life on every planet in the universe, but not life as we know it. And a lot of life is inside the planet, underneath the surface, that we don't know. Well, like each planet has got its own god, if you believe that, which I do, because we got Mother Gaia. Each planet's got its own god, but there is life. The universe, you can see the universe. There's the moon, the stars, the sun. You can see the universe, but you can't see the cosmos. The cosmos is where all the frequencies run through. 5G knows this because spirits come to you on an electromagnetic frequency. That's how they tune into you. Whereas 5G also uses an electromagnetic frequency as well. 5G is a weapon of warfare. Actually, it can put a crowd of rioters to sleep if they wanted to, but they use it to download super fast broadband at the moment. But a lot of people don't realise that 5G is not really a good thing. Yeah, it is if you want faster broadband. You know, 5G can tell if you're in what room you're in and listen to conversations and all that stuff. The mast, this 5G can't travel through trees. That's why they're chopping down the tree. And you know about Jew weapons of direct energy weapons of warfare. Jew, all your fires in America and Australia are laser from satellites or drones deliberately caused to build a path for the train track to run through. If you notice, there's you've got cars burnt, houses burnt, yet all this forest around is okay.
Yep.
You know, and Hollywood. What about Hollywood? The hot fires in Hollywood.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
deliberately, and the underground tunnels and all that connecting them all.
The green roofs in Hawaii.
Yeah, the Hawaii, and then they actually caught video of the lasers.
Yeah,
in Hawaii.
We got crop circles. Crop circles are say 10% of crop circles are man-made. Okay, we'll say that. Okay, but crop circles are due. The satellites can actually create a crop circle if they wish, which they do. But not all crop circles are created by the government. It's been filmed. Orbs have actually created crop circles in a minute or two, couple of minutes, or even 30 seconds. A massive crop circle, and if you go there with a detector, you can pick up the energy, the radiation from where the hay has been bent down. The stalks are bent, and to form a crop circle. You know,
we had, was it 2019? Just like 30 minutes away from here, we had one that was formed, and it was deemed credible.
Yeah,
because it had they could tell that it was more of like a microwave type radiation that caused it to bend. It wasn't broke. The stalks weren't broke down and all that stuff. It's pretty interesting.
There was
in China, they're painting the roofs blue because the blue reflects the lasers and stops the houses from being burnt down. That's why they're painting this roofs blue.
I need to get a blue roof.
Yeah, I got a red one.
Blue roof.
I've got a red one. My roof's red.
Oh.
Go ahead.
So at my last place, I remember I'd just been to see my brothers, and I went to open the door of my last address, and as I put the key in the door, I felt an energy behind me come up through the floor, like a dark energy, and I looked around and I went, "Who are you?" And next thing I know, I got punched in the face. Right now, boxing. I'm pretty good at looking after myself. I know I'm a bit old now, but I used to be able to look after myself. I don't know how I know how to box. I think my grandfather, it comes from my grandfather's side, I could just box. And I'm a defensive boxer. Well, it was a dirty punch. I got punched in the face by a demon and I went flying backwards and landed on my back on the floor. And I had to move, get away, crawl away backwards to get away from it. And I thought, like, you know, that was a dirty punch. And I got away from it. And I left my home for 3 hours. I stayed away for it to disappear from my front door. And the following day, there was a porthole in the floor outside my front door. The following day, I performed a ceremony to close the porthole. And then my sister-in-law said, you shouldn't have done that because you closed the porthole. I trapped demons this side of life, which I hadn't thought of that at the time. But like, I stopped that demon from coming through the floor. I know I did that. And there was the porthole there because the neighbours opposite, there was 3 stabbings. And I think because they can integrate in people and get them to do things, and like 3 people got stabbed. I think I was meant to be one of them, but like I was lucky it didn't happen to me.
You know,
there's
a movie, and I'm trying to remember exactly when it was made. It was
not the Entity,
the Fallen, something. I forgot the name of it exactly. I'll have to look it up here in a minute. But I've watched this movie a few times, and I think it's an interesting movie because it portrays this entity that possesses people, and when it possesses people, that person becomes a serial killer.
Yeah.
And they kill people in a certain specific way every time. I mean, down to the detail, a specific way. And in this movie, you know, the guy ends up getting capital punishment. So he gets the electric chair or something, I forgot. But then the demon came out of him and went into the cop that was the one that caught the guy and put him away. And and it's funny because when he was first there, the demon let himself be known, and then it started jumping from person to person to person to person to try to get to him. But it had jumped into someone else after that dude's murder, and they started killing the same way the other guy did. And it was an interesting movie, and it made me think about, you know, are there these entities that do things a certain way and then move on to the next host and then continue doing that? You know, can you find this pattern throughout history of this one depravity, whatever it is, that's been carried out by thousands of people and tie it back to one entity? That's interesting.
Well, I had an entity in me for 8 years, and then I had 4 years break, and he led me on a path to suicide, which I failed. I'm glad I did. I thought my life was over, the world had come to an end for me, and like he left me, and then I had 4 years of peace and tranquility. Then I got this other one in me, and they're called, what you was describing, they're called leapers. They can leap from one person to another, and I said to a witch recently, don't you think it's amazing that some suicides are demonic affiliated? Demons can lead you on a path to suicide, especially if you take drugs. Even when you're drunk, you could have a demon. You know, because some people you've got your happy drunks and you've got nasty drunks. Yes. Some people, when they get drunk, they become nasty. They might have a demon attached to them without knowing it. Right. They're called attachments. Not all demons have to come into your body. They can actually attach themselves to you without you knowing it. But what you're describing is a leaper. Yeah, and I am evidence from me. I speak from experience. Yeah, demons can lead you on a path to suicide because one did me. I call them demons, but like they're not all demons actually. Like some people are living, they're alive, and they can remote view you, and they can see what they're doing to you, and you don't even know they're there. It's possible for an entity to come into your body without you knowing, and it could keep itself a secret that it's in you and wreck your life without you knowing it. You know, if you are targeted, when we say we got free will, have we got free will? If I had free will, I wouldn't have been attacked by demons or I had an entity in me. You
Right.
know, so we haven't. Oh, some of us have got free will, but not all of us. It depends. Like, you know, life's like a box of chocolates, and you never know what one you're going to get. You know.
Right. Yep. Yep.
I'll give you another film. You might know. The Entity is a true story about a woman that got raped by a poltergeist. And when
Oh,
they made the film about her experiences, she was still getting raped by a poltergeist right up till after the film was released. She was still getting raped, and they filmed her, and you could see the flesh being pushed in, like it was. She had bruises over her body where she was being raped by a poltergeist. Yes, because succubuses and incubuses are real; they do exist, and they can. You could form a mutual relationship with an incubus or a succubus, or you can be attacked by one and they can target you. And in the Entity, she was targeted by an incubus, and the incubus bruised her body, and no one could get rid of it from her. And she went to her deathbed being attacked by an incubus. And they made a film called The Entity. If you ever want to see that film, it's a true story. The Entity.
I have watched that movie. That was a pretty interesting movie too, because and I'm thinking it's the same movie because don't at one point they even put her like in a special room or something and do something to where they could try to see this thing or something like that, or try to protect her from this thing, but it still didn't protect her.
No, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And The Exorcist is the true story.
Yes.
I've got an exorcism ring, actually, a copy of the original ring worn by the actual priest who performed The Exorcist. A copy. And like, yeah, that was a true story. Obviously, Hollywood has glamorized it a little bit more. But yeah, apparently, allegedly, the devil, a demon claiming to be the devil, was in this young girl. And yeah, true story as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So have you ever witnessed somebody else being like possessed?
Yes, I have. Oh God, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I have. I had a guy who was staying with me, a very good friend of mine. He come home drunk one day, and I let him in, and he was so drunk, he collapsed on the floor and was laying on the floor on his back, and he peed himself because he was so drunk. Then all of a sudden, his voice changed, and the demon climbed into him. His voice changed to something I'd never heard of before, and the demon said to me, he pointed at me and said, "I curse you, I curse you, I curse you in the name of Azrael." And I went, "Who are you? Who the hell are you? What have I done to you? Who's Azrael?" I googled the name of Azrael. Azrael's the angel of death, and like, why is the angel of death cursing me? Because I got one of these dark angels in me. That's why. Who's afraid to leave me. And yeah, I said to my friend, "Do you remember saying that? You was cursing me in a different voice." He said, "No, I wasn't doing that." He said, "That wasn't me." I said, "I know it wasn't you. It was some spirit got into you when you was drunk." And that's why it's called spirits when you drink spirits, because it's spiritual. And like, you are vulnerable. When you're drunk, you're vulnerable. When you're on drugs, you're vulnerable to demonic attack, you know?
Right. Yep.
And like, yeah, I was cursed. I've been cursed like a few times, you know, believe it or not, by a narcissist. And like, yeah, the spirit in my friend cursed me in the name of Azrael because I got a dark angel in me. That's why. One of his dark angels that was going around wrecking people's lives. I'll tell you why he won't leave me. I remote viewed him, and like, believe it or not, I know this is going to sound far-fetched. I looked through his eyes and I saw the Grim Reaper in the distance, hovering above the ground, 7 foot tall, with his scythe. And I said, "He's not waiting for me, he's waiting for you." Because on my arm, I got the Grim Reaper tattooed when I was 18 years old. Don't know why I did. I just did. I got the Grim Reaper tattooed on my arm. I said, "He hasn't come for me, he's coming for you." And the reason why he won't leave me is because if he leaves me, he will be caught in flight, transferring himself to another person or back to himself. And the Grim Reaper will catch him in flight and harvest his soul, collect the death energy. Because that's what demons want from you, the lush that you give off, the energy you give off. They want your misery, your depression.
Right.
That's what they want from you. They want you to be depressed. They don't want you to be happy.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we've had people on the show before that talked about stuff like that because they're a lower vibration, and so when they attack you or whatever, that's what they're looking for, is that lower vibration, and also looking to lower your vibration too.
Yeah. And if you don't know that they're there, if you don't know, then you don't know. And if you don't know they're there, then they can do the most amazing things to you without you even knowing. That's why I say not all your thoughts and feelings are your own sometimes. You know, like intuition, intuit means to learn. Intuition is message from within, message from your soul, message from your spirit from within. Intuition. Intuit is to learn. And that's what your intuition is. And your intuition is a compass to the soul. Okay. And if you use your intuitive skills, it will guide you through life. If you read the Bible, your intuitive skills will decode the enigma that's in the Bible, because the Bible is a book of misinformation, like it's been messed with. King James made 1,800 changes in the King James version of the Bible, but the Bible is a book of numbers, words of power, book of rituals, book of prayers, book of miracles. It's a book of so many things, and a book of codes. And like it can do, you could use the Bible to perform an exorcism to remove spirits from the house, just as using the name of Jesus. If Jesus didn't exist, then how comes his name's called his name Jesus? If you're being attacked by a demon and you shout Jesus, that could cause the demon to flee. Okay. So, like, if there was no Jesus, his name would have no power, surely. So there's an energy in his name, and there's energy in the Bible. Bible is a book of energy. So you must bear that in mind. You know,
Right.
I forgot.
You know,
what the
you're
lesson
talking
was.
about the Bible. I was reading or watching something today or yesterday about the Lord's Prayer that's in the Bible, and they've traced it back that it was of Egyptian origin.
Yeah.
So I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty interesting.
Came out of the Book of the
When
Dead.
you say the Lord's Prayer, you're summoning all the archangels to pay attention to you and take heed when you say the Lord's Prayer in
Yeah.
full. You know.
Okay.
Everything's debatable, I know, but like, is there a heaven and hell? No, there isn't. Well, actually, there is. If you're religious and you believe in heaven and hell, then when you die, you may go there. The Druids believe you go to the netherworld or the other world. It's different for everybody. If you don't believe, then it depends on your beliefs where you could end up when you cross over. Many people who are not awake to the reality of this world will experience reincarnation. You know.
Yep. Yep. Well, I believe in reincarnation for sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do.
reincarnation is real.
I've had dreams as a kid, and I think that some of them were pretty lucid. One of them, and now my upbringing as a very young kid was we didn't have TVs even in our house because they were of the devil, right? It was a pretty strict Christian upbringing. I was about a teenager before we started having TVs in our house or anything. But so I don't have any background for what it was I saw or from what I experienced, except for to think that maybe it was a past life or something like that. But I went on a camping trip with my stepdad, and it was through the Boy Scouts. And so we set up our tents and everything. And my stepdad set up his tent. I set up mine. And, you do what the Boy Scouts do all day, learn how to tie knots and, do all that fun stuff, but shoot bows and arrows and all that. But at that night we went to sleep. I went into my little pup tent and went to sleep. And all of a sudden I heard like gunfire and stuff going off. And I stand up out of my tent and I look down and I'm in like these green fatigues almost. But I'm not a kid. I'm an adult. And I take off running and I could smell the gunpowder in the air. It's crazy. But, and I take off running. Now this, at the time I'm living in West
I'm going to have
Texas.
to come out the studio and come back in again.
Okay.
Okay. So,
oh God, I'll come back
He's having a little bit of technical difficulties. He'll be right back, but I'll go ahead and finish the story. You know, and what happens is that I start jumping back down and then firing in a position that I could hear fire, you know, coming from, and I could hear bombs going off and, you know, way in the distance. And what woke me up was the fact that it was West Texas. I'm barefooted and I'm about a mile away from where we was camping. And I have just the whole bottoms of my feet are just full of thorns. And I sat there and start pulling those things out. But it was something that was pretty amazing. But I really think that it was a past life or something. Can you hear me?
Can you hear us now?
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I can, and I'm amazed at the amount of people. I know people that do past life regressions, and it's amazing the amount of people that can remember having a past life. Sometimes they remember more than one past life. I can't say I do, but they do.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't know if it's the same life or not, but I have a feeling it is for some reason, because I used to have tons of dreams about being a pilot. And what the funny part of it is that I slept on the top bunk of my bunk beds. And when my plane would go down, I would eject out. Well, I would jump off the top bunk of my bed, plunk, onto the floor. And my mom would always come running in there. What's going on in here? And I was like, I'd actually wake up when I would hit the floor. But I would have that dream just constantly. It was crazy.
Yeah. Past life regressions. Do you have any past life regressions, Jason?
I've had very lucid dreams, but I don't know if they're from past lives. I know on your show the other day, I told you one about that was just reoccurring. I don't even think I've told David this dream I've been having.
Oh,
This is recent. I was telling Bradley and Sherry that I was for the past month, I've been dreaming that I had some kind of telekinesis or some kind of power that I could move stuff, and I would be in my dream and I would be doing all this and just focusing on like a clock, and I could change its time and stuff like that. And
Hiro Nakamura.
Hero Nakamura, yeah, heroes. But always in this dream, there's a dark figure. I don't know if it's the devil or what, but it's just dark, like a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm battling it. And every time at the end of the battle, I don't know whether I win or it wins, but I wake up and that's it. And I've had that dream 6 times in the last 2 months. The same dream. So I don't know if that was something in a past life, maybe in a different universe or
Plane of existence.
Yeah.
I think our dreams sometimes tell us stuff too. And you know,
Messages.
It could definitely be something like, you know,
That's what they were saying.
Yep. And I really think that something like that, to me, it almost seems like you're battling with something that's dark, and you know that you're battling something that's dark, and you're still in the middle of that battle. That's why you're still having the dream, because it's not over yet.
Bradley was saying it could be like a warning or a heed to that something, you know,
dark's coming,
no good's coming, and I'm going to be battling it. So.
Right. Or that you already are, maybe you just don't realize it.
Maybe I got over it because I was sick. Year and a half ago, I was pretty sick. My heart went out of rhythm. My lung collapsed. And that's when I had the dream of the alien healing me.
Yep.
And good things happen. I'm better now, and my heart's back in rhythm. Everything's good. I just got to lose a little more weight. But, you know, that dream was very lucid too. It was weird.
I recently got out of hospital 3 months ago. I had the same symptoms as you. My lungs collapsed. I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't get any air in, and I died in hospital. I died for 25 seconds. I was in a coma for 6 days. This was 3 months ago. And yeah, they said to my family, we're really sorry, but he's not going to make it through the night. We don't think he will. And I did. And like here I am now on the show. I'm back. And the thing is, like, they thought I had.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Maybe his internet's going out. Well, we'll continue this.
Yeah, we'll continue this here in a minute. We'll let him finish the story when he comes back. I think, you know, when I've told you about the alien dream that I had where it healed me. Right. So I think something was going on there, but what kind of dreams have you had? Any that was lucid like that recently?
I don't know if I have. I've had some weird dreams. I could tell you that lately, but it's been just, you know, those weird dreams, right? Just, had to be something I was watching on TV or something, because they had a sci-fi flick to them, you know. And so, but as far as like having one that I think was like what you've been having or something. No.
Yeah, I stopped breathing and I came through. They brought me back to life. I had a really excellent medical team, and so I'm going to change devices in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, so I come back to life, and I've come back a different person as well, because now I've reviewed my life. I've stopped a lot of people coming around that are toxic people, and yeah, I've changed my diet, changed my ways, stopped a lot of people coming around, and I'm more grounded now than I've ever been. You know, I feel like a different person.
Tell me something, because I started getting on a path like that about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, of putting a leash on people that were toxic, because you could feel them. Everybody feels those people in your life that are toxic. They bring, and it doesn't have to mean that they're bad people, but they just bring a negativity, or they bring something into your life that's not doing you or your, you know, your family any good. And it's hard to stop associating sometimes with those people, but when you do, you feel better, and you could tell that there isn't this energy drain that you're getting every time that you're around these people, you know.
I'll be honest with you. I'm an empath and I'm a spiritual advisor, and I thought I can help. I'm very good at what I do. People have told me I've saved them from suicide with words of wisdom, advice, and like guidance. And that's all you can do, is offer them guidance, plant seeds, and help relight their fire, activate them, ignite them, and make them feel a worth of themselves. Because a lot of people out there are lost souls, tormented souls, tortured souls. And you know, help people. Well, I met some drug addicts. I didn't know they were drug addicts, and I tried to help them, and I ended up lending them money and all that stuff. And then I found out that they were on drugs, and like there's nothing I could do for them. They chose the drugs over my advice, my guidance, and like and they were using me, and I stopped them coming round. They were taking drugs in my home, and I don't know how I allowed that to happen. And I stopped them all coming round, and like I have had some threats of violence for doing so, but I stopped the toxic people coming around. I associate with grounded people, light workers, and truth seekers. They're the people I want in my life. I don't want drug addicts in my life. You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. You can only do so much. You can't save the planet, can you? You know.
Nope. That's right. That's right. And you have to. You know, when you're starting to go down those kinds of paths, you also start finding a lot of roadblocks. It seems like everything gets thrown at you to try to keep you from going down that path, you know, and that's another thing, because I can't say that I'm perfect by any means, because I've never been, but when you try to be a better person, because for a long time in my life, I wasn't a great person. I wasn't a great friend. I wasn't a great, anything. And when you try to change who you are into something else, it
Yeah,
seems like creation itself recognizes it. And some of it is going, woohoo, they're rooting for you. And some of it's going, oh no, 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 no. We like the other guy better.
yeah,
And they
yeah.
make
That's
it hard
right.
on you, they make it hard on you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a villain in my youth. Yes, I had a car showroom in a nightclub, but I was a villain as well. I didn't hurt innocent people, but I mainly like protected myself. I had a little crew around me, and I was hanging around with gangsters and villains and all that sort of stuff. And I had to move area to break away. I thought this is not good for my family. I got a wife and a son. I need to start a new life. And they said, you don't think you can make money with us and then leave the table. It doesn't work like that. The overlord of the manor was a Freemason, and he said, you don't leave the table. It don't work like that. And so I had to move area to get away. So I moved from Essex near London. I moved to another country called Wales, and I'm in Swansea now. And that's I started a new life, and I broke away. And I never thought in my life I'm a Hierophant Knight, a Hydra priest. I never thought I'd ever be that. I'm a shadow of my former self, you know. I mean, I'm very good at. I'm accustomed with a little bit of violence, and like people could like abuse me, mug me off, and get away with it now. Where back in the day, I'd do something about it.
Right.
Nowadays, I had people using me, taking advantage of my goodwill. Now I've isolated myself from all of them. I'm running out of friends because they're not really friends, are they?
No, they
People that
can't be
use
friends.
you,
Right.
you
Yeah. If
know,
they're using you, they're not friends. That's a fact.
So
no.
when you were in the hospital and I'm going to say a gift of passing on, because I think it's a gift sometimes.
Well, we're only borrowed into this body. This isn't.
Did you have any NDE or near death
I
experience?
had NDE, near death experience. Yeah, dead for 25 seconds. I was in a void, a black void. I was in a black void. I never encountered any spiritual entities at all. I joke and say I was knocking on heaven's door and nobody was answering, but that's a joke. That is. There was no room at the inn for me. I'll be honest with you. In the last 5 years, I've died 3 times, and I come back. One time I died and peed myself, and then I come back. Yeah, my sister-in-law's witnessed the other 2 times, but the third time they thought I had COVID, and then they changed it to pneumonia. Sounds like that's what you had, pneumonia. You know. And
Yeah.
and they brought me back to life. I have to take medication now, pills to thin my blood out. I've got two blood clots in me. I've got 2 cysts in me. They discovered. I've had a CT scan, 3 CT scans, and I'm under hospital at the moment.
Yeah,
And
I take blood thinner too.
yeah. Yeah, thin.
But
A clove of garlic every day thins your blood out, by the way. Doctors don't tell you this. If you have a clove of garlic every day, it will thin your blood out and you won't get blood clots and it will extend your life. You can live to your 90 if you take a clove of garlic every day. Seriously. Yeah.
and it'll also keep
I
the
love garlic.
vampires away.
I love garlic.
Are vampires
So,
really?
I bet your breath stinks.
I love, man. I eat garlic. I eat onions.
Wow.
He's a pepper man too.
I eat jalapeno, any kind of hot pepper. The hotter the better. Carolina Reapers. You name it, I eat it. And I eat it for fun. I don't eat it because it's hot, but I actually enjoy it.
So let me tell you this experience I had too. I had another experience. I don't know if I passed away or what, but I was sleeping. This is probably when I was in my 30s. I was sleeping, and David, I've told him this 100 times, but it's the only time I've ever done this. I don't know if I was remote viewing or just having an out of body experience, but I was asleep, and all of a sudden I'm looking down at myself from the ceiling. But there's something pulling me through the roof, trying to pull me through the roof. And I'm swimming with my hands trying to get back in my body. And this was so real. Even when I woke up, it was like, man. But I finally got the strength to get back in my body. And it was like a blink of an eye. I woke up.
Then you had an out-of-body experience.
I don't know if
people that would,
if I died in my sleep or I don't know.
Yeah, because you've got astral lucid dreaming and astral projections are not the same thing. And you may have astral projection. You may have astral projection. You may have astral projections because we're not just a spirit. We have a ethereal spirit that's to the side of us. When we're asleep, we've got an ethereal spirit that's to the side of us, an etheric spirit that's out of body. Astral spirit is on the cord that travels, and in dreamscape, astral spirit, and it's got a cord attached to it. If you have an astral projection, you may even be able to look back and see yourself lying there asleep.
That was just pretty wild. I've never done it again. And frankly, I wouldn't want to do it again because I was scared. Didn't think, I thought I was going to just float off into nowhere. I don't know. It was weird.
I always wanted to do astral projection.
So when you,
I don't think I ever have. I've had lucid dreams. I don't think I think when I was 10, I might have astral projected one time. I was flying in the sky where I lived, and I could see my address, my home, where I lived. I was like 10 years old, flying in the sky. But I felt a demon touch me, and I never experienced that ever again.
Because I used to have a lot of dreams when I was a kid about flying, being able to fly. I would flap my wings.
I remember it really, it's kind of crazy to think about it now, but I remember having those dreams, but it was almost like flying a kite.
Yeah.
You know how you had to pull it against the wind? I'd have to run with the wind blowing towards me, and then I could jump and start flying. And once I was airborne, it was good, but just to take off, the wind had to be blowing against me.
Oh, just wish we were kids again.
Yeah. Many a moon ago.
Yeah, dreams really hard to decipher. Normally there could be a message in them, could be spiritual, could even be extraterrestrials might be manipulating your dreams. It's very hard to say. We get attachments, all kinds of attachments.
Right.
Yep. Anyway, going back to the craft. Merlin introduced me to the craft, the occult, and I learned words of power, summons and conjured in rituals can create manifestations. Ripples in the cosmos cause manifestations to occur, and so I tried some of these rituals, and I spirits have come to me, spoken to me using telepathy. I could hear their voice. They could be talking beside me or in me, and also they talk to me like they're sitting next to me. Or you can have telethought, where all your thoughts are not your own. Or when I close my eyelids, it's like a cinema screen, and I can see visions. All this happens at random. I'm not in control of it. And I've had spirits come to me, like King Leviathan. He come to me. He's listed in the Bible. King Leviathan said to me, "I'm chivalrous and I'm following a noble path." I thought, that's very kind of you. I've had a spirit say to me, "I'd be willing to stand anywhere with you." I thought that's a really nice thing to say. I've experienced a god Dionysus. I don't know if you've heard of Dionysus.
Yes.
The Midas touch. Yeah. Well, he come to me. God Dionysus is the god of festivals, the god of the vine, god of diversity, really. And he come to me and he said he'd love to have a party with me. I said I'd like to have a party with you.
He heard about your nightclub.
What you need to do is ask him if he's bringing the spirits.
I joked with an angel about an angel comes to visit me. I joked with her about having a party with her, and she said she would get tipsy on holy water.
That's funny.
I've encountered regal spirits mostly because I tune into regal spirits. They got status, and some of their spirits' credentials are on Google. Actually, you can Google them, which I didn't know that. But I've had spirits come to me, from amulets, from rings that I've purchased. I've had spirits come and talk to me. Goddess Keradwen. I don't know if you've heard of her. Goddess Keradwen. She's the mother of the maiden and the crone, the Trinity, and she's the mother and the crone. And she said to me, she was very blunt with me. She said, the path I'm following, I need to change my path because I'm following like the path is leading me to doom. I need to change my path, you know.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I took her advice anyway. And like, yeah, also, yeah, pixies, sprites, goblins, elves, they're all real. They exist. They were here before we were. And I don't know if you believe in the ice wall. Over the ice wall are other continents. That's where they reside, you know.
Really?
Cyclops, mentors, centaurs all actually exist. They're not myths. They really did exist, you know.
That's interesting.
David here's met some fairies.
I have. I bet. What I believe was.
I have a fairy goblet. I bought a fairy goblet, which a spellbinder, a sorcerer, he bound a fairy to the fairy goblet. And when it was delivered, I put it on the table. I went out the room, and when I come back in the room, there was an orangey, red, yellowy, orange ball, an orb, a big orb on the table, and it was showing me that the fairy goblet is activated. And the fairy goblet has got a gatekeeper which depicts which fairy would suit me to sort of accompany me on my travels through this garden of life. You know, yeah, fairies are real. I haven't seen a fairy, but I've seen a fairy all. You know, yeah, fairies real. You've seen a fairy, you say?
Yeah, the one that my wife and I saw. It's funny because they actually took human form. So they look like us. But we were going to a buddy of mine, his Bigfoot group was talking at a place of ours that we go to all the time and eat. It's a pizzeria place. And his Bigfoot group was going to go talk, you know, to each other and discuss some of their findings and just different things. So we decided we was going to tag along and go up there and listen to them and get to hear some of the stories and different things. And so we're sitting at our table and the place starts getting packed. And we have this man and woman that come in and they get a pizza and they ask us if they could sit with me and my wife. And we're like, yeah, sure. You know, this is a big table and it's only two of us. Sit down. And so they start talking. And when the wife and I both started listening to the conversation that they were having with each other and then having with us about Bigfoot and different things, you know, they were talking about going home, that they lived in the woods, that their animal friends were going to be sad that they've been gone so long and all this stuff. And me and the wife, the first thing that came into our heads when they first sat down was that they were off. Something was different about them. But then listening to their conversations, and then they was asking us questions. After we left, I probably got about 2 miles down the road, and I looked at my wife and said they were fairies. And she's like, "Oh my God! At least I'm not the only one that was crazy because I felt the same thing." But it was amazing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Our history's a lie. Yeah. What's myths and legends are actually real. Like I say, the English dictionary says Merlin and King Arthur didn't exist. That's a lie because, like, King Arthur was born 50 miles from where I live in Newport in Wales. He's Welsh, believe it or not. And like Merlin was born 30 miles from where I live in Carmarthen. Carmarthen translated into English is Merlin's fault, and he actually existed. And so do the Knights of the Round Table. Apparently, the Round Table was a portal as well. They used to stand on there. It didn't and be teleported to other locations, although that's what they say. But what I was going to say is about, the reason why the table was round is because King Arthur didn't want a head at the table. He didn't want to sit at the head. He wanted them all to sit at the table equally, you know?
Yep, that makes sense.
So I know you talk about Merlin. Was he like do you think, I know you believe in extraterrestrials too. Do you think he was from somewhere else or?
Merlin was born. I'll tell you a little bit about Merlin. He was born. His mother was a nun in a church, a monastery. His mother was a nun, and she allegedly was raped by a incubus, a demon, a spiritual demon, raped her. And Merlin was born. Merlin was born magical already. The difference between a wizard and a sorcerer is a wizard is very powerful, gets his magic from words of power, which are found in grimoires. Grimoires are books of spells. That's where a wizard gets his magic from, and very powerful and dangerous they can be. Whereas a sorcerer is born magical. A sorcerer doesn't need a grimoire or a book for spells. A sorcerer just is magical, and that's what Merlin was, a sorcerer. He was also a druid. Druids built Stonehenge, I believe, as well. The Celts built Stonehenge under the guidance of the druid priests. And a druid can be a priest, solicitor, policeman, teacher, and like the Celts used to go to see a druid for guidance. Like if there was argument over land, the druid was like they go see someone like Merlin, and Merlin would pick out where the borderline is over the division of the land. They were very wise men, judges as well, magistrates. The druids were very wise, and the Romans pushed them underground because the Romans tried to kill all the druids. That's why they went underground. Druids never stopped existing; they just went underground. But Merlin was born from half angel, a nun, and half demon, a incubus, and he was born magical. He was raised by his uncle Gaius raised him. Uncle Gaius was a wizard. He raised Merlin, and Merlin then he became King Arthur's aide, and he helped guide King Arthur to power. Merlin once said to me, they was in a battle, and the battle was won. The battle was won, he said, and King Arthur decided to stop for a cup of tea halfway through the battle. So they had a tea break halfway through the battle, and he was going, come on, the battle is won, the battle is won. And they stopped, both sides stopped and had a tea break during the battle. That's what they were like, the English.
Wow.
That's funny.
Yeah, and Merlin is also a Time Lord. Our consciousness never dies. He was a Time Lord, and I believe he went back in time and met Jesus at Stonehenge. When Jesus Christ had the missing years, well, when he was missing, Jesus Christ visited the pyramids and other sacred places, and he come over on a boat to visit Stonehenge. And when he come over on a boat, he was in the boat with him was Lady Pendragon. And she's related to King Arthur Pendragon of the Knights of the Round Table. And Lady Pendragon brought Jesus Christ to Stonehenge, where Jesus Christ met King Merlin. Merlin teleported back in time because he is a Time Lord. Time Lords are real, I believe. Teleportation is real, and shapeshifting is real. Extraterrestrials know about shapeshifting. So do dragons as well. So does Merlin know about dragons and shapeshifting. And I didn't know dragons were real. King Leviathan is a dragon, and like he spoke to me. And like they can appear in human form as well. They can shapeshift, or they can appear in your hand. A dragon can. Yeah, dragons are real, believe it or not. The only evidence I've got is the dragon that's petrified clay in the southwest of England. But Merlin was many things. Merlin was also, that's not his real name, by the way. Ambrosia is known as, or Emerald. Merlin, that's not Merlin's real name. And the Merkaba star is Merlin, Kabar, putting an L on the end, you've got Cabal. The Cabal is the 1%. And you also got the Tree of Life. That's you've got the Cabal tree. That's in the occult.
Right. Yep.
Merlin's a very wise man, yeah. And like I didn't know Merlin. I thought Merlin was a myth, a legend, until he manifested before my eyes. And then he started to teach me a few years ago. He started to teach me things, and he introduced me, to the craft and like magic and tarot cards and all this sort of stuff, mystical stuff. He introduced me to it, and that's when I learned that it's real. Our consciousness that never dies. Yeah, when spirits come and talk to you, don't be afraid.
Right.
In fact, it's an honor. when a spirit talks to you, I'm honoured by their presence. Even if a demon attacks me, I'm honoured by the presence. I've been attacked for over a year now, but like, yeah, I'm honoured by their presence, that I'm worthy of their time to attack me, to get me to change my path. Wow.
Mhm.
You know
Right.
what I mean? I must be doing something right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got about a minute. If you want to tell everybody, you know, what all you do and your websites, podcasts.
Yes, thank you for that. First of all, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. It's been a pleasure to meet you,
Thank
both
you.
of you, all three of you. Thank you for having me on the show. Yes, what I do, I build communities. I bring communities together of like-minded people, esoteric intellectuals. That's what I call us, which is what we are. We are esoteric. Is limited information to only a certain few who recognise, evaluate, and realise the reality of the world we live in. Esoteric, mysticism is esoteric. Knowing without knowing. You could just know things without knowing. That's esoteric. Where you've learned something and you don't know how you learned it, but you know it's right. That's esoteric as well. I want to thank you for being on the show. Yeah, I've got. If you want to add me on my Facebook, I answer all messages. I do eventually answer, and I've got many groups that you might wish to join: spiritual, paranormal, witches, witchcraft groups, and extraterrestrial, alien contactees and alien abductee groups as well. Okay, so add me if you wish to explore more phenomena and meet like-minded people like myself.
Awesome.
Thank
I
you.
noticed you post a lot of questions of the
Yeah.
universe and stuff. I like reading those and hearing everybody reading the comments. It's pretty nice. But we want to thank you for being here, and I know it's late where you're at, and hopefully we can do it again.
It'd be a pleasure to come on your show. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty diverse, and like also I could appoint guests if you would need any guests. I've got plenty of guests that would love to appear on your show. That are all they're either experienced phenomenal, they've had phenomenal experiences, or they have been blessed with phenomenal gifts. Okay, I can point people towards you if you are willing.
Yeah, please. Yeah, absolutely. We usually take those through our email, info@paranormal411.org. And matter of fact, we've been starting to get ready to get more guests on, because the last few months we've not done it.
Yeah, we used to have a guest like every Saturday, but we've kind of backed off and doing our own little shows and investigations live and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we're going to get back into the guest lines that can call in and do all this. That's what we used to do.
We have call-in numbers and stuff, so people could call in and ask you questions and all that stuff. So we're going to get back into doing a lot more stuff like that.
Well, I got Jason Scott's on my friends list on Messenger. I'll call when I see you online, Jason. I'll call you, and then if you're up for it, I'll introduce you to a few people, and you might find their criteria suits your show.
Oh yeah,
we're not picky.
We're not picky. I mean, if they bring just a smidget of what you've brought tonight, I mean, we love it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's not a problem. That's it. We're heading in the same direction anyway.
Right.
We are partisans to the cause, and we serve the greater good. And the greater good's whatever you want it to be.
Yes. Tony Waltz.
Tony Waltz says hello. Sorry, Tony. We're ending the show, but you can it'll be up in podcast on all the podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter, or you can find it anywhere. And it'll be on, if you live in Atlanta, you can tune in to 99.1 in Atlanta, and you can hear it there next Saturday at 10 p.m.
Yep. And if you're not in Atlanta, you could still go to wdjyfm.com.
Right.
Or you go to paranormal411.org and click the link and listen to this show that we're having with Bradley in Atlanta next week.
Yes. It'll be on the radio next week, Bradley.
Yep. Next week, this interview with you will be on 99.1 FM in Atlanta, Georgia.
Well done. Thank you very much for that. It's been an honor to like meet you. I'm really pleased. I've known you for a while now, Jason. Yeah, we just haven't interacted much, have we?
Yeah,
No.
I tried to get you on. I don't know what happened, but I mean, we were setting it up and then we just quit communicating there for a minute and I found you.
Yeah. Well, I've been on here now. I saved
Maybe-
the moment with
Maybe it
you.
was when you
Enjoyed
were sick that we were doing all that. I don't know, but I'm glad you
I was
agreed
with
to come on.
Elder McKinville, Parafam Entertainment.
Yep.
Yep.
Are you familiar with that, Jason? Parafam Entertainment.
Perfect.
Elder McKinville. Yeah.
I'm not sure. It don't ring a bell.
It doesn't matter anyway. I can't remember why we stopped talking, but like, well, I've been on the show. That's good. I'll guide more people your way. I'll come on like again in like a month's time or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We can talk about any subjects that you want.
Yep. We didn't
Yeah,
get to
Tony Walsh. She's gone.
We didn't get to touch on any alien stuff or anything like that. So next time I'd definitely like to hit some of
Yeah,
that.
I got a page here. We did this page. I haven't done the other page, the other side. Yeah. I had to write. I had to try and think of all the things that I've experienced. I couldn't write them all down. There's too many. But I wrote a load of them down anyway. That the major ones for me. But there's a lot of gravy as well that I didn't write down. But like from my necromancy, as a necromancer, someone's in performing rituals. Yeah, loads of spirits have come through to me in the from rituals. Yeah, but thanks for having me on the show anyway, and I'll guide more people your way. If I see you online, Jason, yeah, we could do a group chat, and your co-host and all that can add me as a friend as well, and I could do the same. I'll put some guests your way that I think you would thoroughly enjoy, that would enhance your show, and would send a message out to everyone that phenomenal people are born in this world, blessed with phenomenal gifts, blessed with phenomenal experiences, or cursed. And they do exist. They're not crazy. They're not insane. They're not schizophrenic, as a psychiatrist would say to them. They are people that generally experience paranormal phenomena, because paranormal phenomena is real and it's happening in this world right now. And that's what I wanted to say. That's my message.
Absolutely.
Tony says
That was
Bradley
good.
Powers is an impressive person.
Yeah.
One of
He
my
is, I mean, I'm glad he took the time out to come join us.
Yes.
I'm sure our guests loved it.
Yeah.
Bradley, thank you.
Yeah, a pleasure. My pleasure.
We'll see you online. David will hook up with you on Facebook, and you can find our Facebook, just Paranormal 411. Look it up. We're on there.
Okay.
All right, man.
All right.
See you next time.
Thank you. You have a good night.
Yeah, same to you. Thank you.
Good morning for you.
All right, that was Bradley Powers.
That was amazing.
Yes,
that was a good show.
It was.
It went
a good show.
It went by so fast. 2 hours was just.
No, we need 3 or 4 hours.
We used to do a 3-hour show. The problem is that people's attention spans aren't 3-hour attention spans.
Yeah,
they're not even 2-hour attention spans. Mark says thank you. Barbara says thank you. Back when we did 3-hour shows, we probably didn't have very many people that was even listening to us.
Right.
It was just us talking.
We've come a long way with guests like Bradley. They really, it's easy for us to sit here and listen to him because he knows.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bradley.
Yep, it was awesome. It was amazing. I want to thank everybody also that tuned in, was part of the show tonight, was in the chat rooms and chatting with us and everything. Definitely want to say thank you for all that.
Before you get started on
my spiel,
I'll do my little spiel.
Yes.
February this month, the 8th.
That's this next Saturday. It's coming Saturday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm nervous now. February the 8th at 2 p.m. in Knoxville, Tennessee at the Cedar Bluff branch of the Knox County Library.
Yes.
Myself and David will be giving a presentation.
Yes.
Our first ever in front of a
live
live
audience.
audience.
Well, I mean, not saying you guys and gals are not live.
Face to
but
face.
Yeah. In person.
We will be doing a presentation on the paranormal and investigating the do's and don'ts and some evidence. We'll have some equipment. So if you can, it'll be at the Cedar Bluff branch of the Knox County Library at 2 p.m.
Yep. And look for it on our Facebook page, because we'll also post it up there. So then that way, if you want to come, you can.
Yeah.
We'd love to see everybody. So it's going to be fun.
Yes.
And we've got a year full of all kinds of fun stuff too. That we've got
yeah.
the Bigfoot Festival in Townsend. We got the Bigfoot convention in Gatlinburg, and then we've got the Bigfoot. Which one is that in
Upper Cumberland Bigfoot Festival.
That's another festival. Yep.
So we'll be at 3 or 4 different places this year. Come join us.
Yeah. Join us. All right. So remember, you can find us at paranormal411.org, Paranormal 411 on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Remember, tune in live every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also on Saturdays from 8 to 10. Remember, Saturday nights from 10 to 11. That is about right now. If you're in the metro Atlanta area, you catch us at WDJYFM.com. That's 99.1. For listeners that are inside of Atlanta, and also on Subspace Radio and all major podcast platforms. We do have a book out, East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore Edition 2. East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore Edition 2. That is available on Amazon or at paranormal411.org. Join us. Join us.
So we'll see you on Thursday, everybody.
Yes. Maybe we'll have another live investigation.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.